Oh, off! What the This girl is a civilian, untrained in combat, being transported to nightmare worlds and surviving monsters in the early 1900s, and then she just walks into a room and lights up a cigarette like everything is totally cool. She doesn't even mention the monsters she's seen. What's wrong with her? She's the most boring character in the game, and she doesn't react to things in any way that makes sense. Let me ask you something. If a child walked up to you and stabbed you in the back with a syringe, wouldn't you freak the f*** out? What the hell, little girl? What did you just do? What did you inject me with? Why did you do that? Tell me what was in the syringe right now or I'll choke the life out of you. But no, Emily doesn't even ask what was in the syringe and goes on like nothing is wrong. And then right after that, you meet up with the older dude looking for the little girl that just stabbed you, and Emily's like, nah, I haven't seen her.
You haven't seen a little girl by any chance, have you?
I don't think so.
You would have known if you did. The only kid crazy enough to be in this place.
She's not in her room then?
She just
That would be a first.
stabbed me with a syringe.
In trouble. It's very hard to pin down that one.
What? See here how Robocop flashes red for a moment after getting hit? No such generosity to be found in the Genesis version. Every single bullet will hit you, and you'll be dead in seconds. And if your hurt box comes into contact with an enemy, your life will drain to 0 faster than your mom dropping her panties at the bar after a couple beers. Your mom dropping her panties at the bar.
Mayo, please just stop. Let me do it. And if your hurt box comes into contact with an enemy, your life will drain to 0 faster than your mum drops her panties at the bar after a couple of beers. That's how you do it.
Thanks, G-Man. You're so much better at this than me.
No, that's alright, mate. Just, try not to piss off any more fan bases, okay?
We'll see. It's a new year. Missions where you gotta find a way to get the Batmobile into the area so it can do something for you. Call the Batmobile so it can save you. It never ends. Main missions, side missions, it doesn't matter. Oh, I'm gonna do this side quest and stop this bad guy from burning buildings. Let's get him. Oh no, I have to chase him in the Batmobile, of course. No! He's the Jason Voorhees of Silent Hill now, because instead of staying in one game like he should have, he's been inserted into 2 movies and a game he never belonged in. There's nothing special about him anymore. He's been diluted and spread out, and now he's just another monster that looks cool. Is this why the new knife has a serrated edge? Are they paying tribute to Silent Hill Homecoming? The knife did not have these edges in the other movies. They added this for this movie, and the only other time we saw this is in Homecoming. Are you kidding me? It's not $20 price tag like you said. Just saw it on PS Store for $29.99. Hell no to buying it at that price. I do not like the control on PS2 version. It's so clunky and impossible to play back then. Getting shot through walls, which is infuriating. Not being able to dodge at any angle other than 90 or 45 degrees, which causes me to roll into walls or directly into enemies. And barrels that just don't get shot even though I'm aiming right at them. I can't even get it to register my inputs when I'm trying to save the game. I gotta be standing in some weird pixel perfect zone. On more than one occasion, I beat a boss literally by standing still and just holding square. What the And some of these bosses are only beatable by constantly shooting at them because they sit so far from you. The level 5 tank bosses can't even do anything to me when I'm up close, so I just mindlessly hacked away until they died. And there's 3 of these, followed by a helicopter that you can only shoot at. It's awful. This boss got stuck on the geometry and it was game over. Oh my god. And that's not the only thing that doesn't make sense. Let's talk about the stamina system. At first, I didn't mind it. It seemed to last a good while when running, I could break a lot of boxes and not get tired. It wasn't a big deal. but several hours into the game, the size of the map really started to come into view, and there's gonna be a lot of running around trying to figure out where to go. Since booting up the game respawns you at the hub area, you have no choice but to sprint all the way back, running out of stamina multiple times. Get used to this, it'll happen a lot. Run for 30 seconds and then walk for 20 steps so you can run some more. Hey, if I wanted to play Starfield more, I wouldn't have uninstalled it. The longer the game goes on, the more you realize that Graven's stamina system is completely out of place, and seems to be here only because someone thought it would be cool to have a stamina system, even though it does nothing for the gameplay. Yeah, it's really cool to have to wait to jump up these stairs, man. No map of individual areas, no map of the world. Go south? Where's south? I don't have a map or a compass. The short message follows Anita, a troubled teenage girl dealing with massive self-esteem issues, seen in her jealousy of a girl whose art is admired by their peers, and her own lack of Instagram followers. We've already gone off the rails. The actual story involving the main character feeling sorry for herself, obsessing over her friends getting more likes than her, and being jealous of her friends, tends to come across as forced, cringy, and worst of all, obvious.
I lost followers again. Even more followers.
Cringe. There's no other word for it. This makes me cringe. It's embarrassing.
The game starts with a content warning, which, fine, put it at the beginning or end, whatever. But this warning shows up every time you boot up the game, every time you load into your last save, at the end of the chapters, and when you return to the main menu. And it's like, seriously, if you're that worried you're gonna trigger someone, maybe you're not handling this material correctly. But it's so heavy-handed, it's like someone is screaming at me not to feel sad.
Hey Mayo, are you okay?
What?
I'm just asking if are you okay? This is heavy stuff.
Yeah, I know it's heavy stuff, but, you know, it's fine.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay.
Oh, thanks for asking, though.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
Hey Mayo, do you feel okay?
Yeah, I feel fine.
Bro, you need to talk. I'm here.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Just a little concerned.
Okay, yeah, it's fine though. All right.
Are you depressed, Mayo?
What?
I'm asking if are you depressed?
No, I'm not depressed. Why do you think I'm depressed?
I'm concerned about you know, friend.
I appreciate the concern, but it's getting a little annoying.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just gonna play the game, all right?
Okay.
Hello?
Are you okay, Mayo?
What are you doing?
Man, I'm worried about you.
Dude, what the f***? The problem this leads to is that the levels start getting longer and longer, and since you're unable to switch abilities, you're stuck with what you have the whole time. There's a level near the end of the game where you have to go through like 10 gauntlets, and you're gonna have to do them all with the same abilities. If you want to change, you have to do the level all over again from going back to the asylum. Which I accidentally did because the return to asylum button is right there next to the reload checkpoint button, and several times when I was repeating a fight multiple times, I accidentally clicked return to asylum and lost all my progress. I hope they put in a confirmation prompt here. I've never been so mad. No! No! There came a point where I got so fed up with the game that I turned it off for, I don't know, a solid week, maybe more. I put out some other videos, played some indie games. Finally, I came back to Arkham Knight, not remembering where I left off. I hit continue and loaded right into a fucking tank section. Oh. We gotta add these stupid repeated button prompts every time you jump down a hole. Are you sure? Press the action button again if you're sure you want to jump, for the 10th time. We gotta take that one little creepy moment of James reaching into a mysterious hole in the wall and do it over and over and over again, completely diluting the impact. Cause remember when James reached into the hole in the wall? Wasn't that moment cool? Let's do it a whole bunch more. And are you sure you want to reach into this hole? Press the action button again if you're sure. But are you really sure? Press it again if you're really sure. Isn't this scary? What's in the hole? It's not too late to turn back. Press the action button again to make James keep reaching into the hole. F*** off already. The game has multiple save slots, auto-saving in slot 1, and if you try to save your game in slot 1, intentionally or accidentally, instead of there being a failsafe to stop the player from saving there, it will instead allow it, no question, and then the next checkpoint will auto-save over your hard save and that data is gone forever. Things like this stick out to me like a priest in an abortion clinic. Enemies are vicious, but they're also blind and stupid. There are so many instances where I ran right in front of these dumbasses and they didn't realize I was there. You can be standing there with a flashlight shining on them in the dark and they think nothing of it. They run right into a raging fire because they only know how to run right at you. And they're deaf. Doesn't matter how loud your footsteps are, they'll never notice you stomping around behind them because they have to see you to know you're there. What's wrong with these guys? It's like they're the people inside the tanks in Arkham Knight.
Just recharge. Oh, right in the ass. Right in the ass.
How do I switch to my acid rounds?
You don't have acid rounds.
I don't? Oh, you're right, I don't.
God damn! That ass is fire. Yes, that was I thinking. Jesus. No! What the f***? He can teleport! Why he can do that? You're in danger.
Yes.
Oh! Look, he's alive! Oh, shit! He still stopped! He came out of the... Bro, just run. Okay, he dead.
The game was an experiment made after Capcom decided to convert a Street Fighter title into this game. Interestingly, DMC3 was originally supposed to be a pinball game, but later got converted into the now legendary hack-and-slash sequel. Crazy, right? With characters totally unrelated to any past protagonist, and no involvement of the cult. I started thinking, I'm sure they're gonna throw in something stupid so fans can justify this game being called Silent Hill. They'll say, look idiot, in this one room you can find a pile of Dahlia Gillespie's pubes or something, and now it's canon because it has Konami's name on it.
Here comes the cavalry. Here comes the cavalry. Here comes the cavalry. Here comes the cavalry.
Calvary.
An open-air representation of the crucifixion of Jesus.
Cavalry.
An army component moving in motor vehicles or helicopters and assigned to combat missions that require great mobility.
Cavalry. Cavalry.
Here comes the cavalry.
Cavalry.
Here comes the cavalry.
Cavalry. Cavalry.
Here comes the cavalry.
The people selling thoughtlessness with such casualty.
Casualty doesn't mean that, does it? I mean, casualty is like a guy gets his arm blown off, right? I mean, isn't that like...
That's a type of casualty.
What?
Here comes the cavalry.
Cavalry.
Oh, I thought you were trying to say casualness.
No, casualty. You smartass for pointing that out.
Just...
Next topic.
But worst of all, and the enemy that in my opinion causes the downfall of DMC3's campaign, is the chessmen. Officially called Damned Chessmen. No, their name is Chessmen. damned chess pieces appear infrequently throughout the game? My ass they do! Somewhere around mission 8 or 9, I think, of 20, these guys start appearing in mass, regularly. And you're just fighting statues. Boring, silent statues. And so many of them. Level after level has you fighting these stupid chess pieces, and in my opinion, all these chess pieces combined with the ghosts and angels and shield guys and multiplying bats, it makes the entire second half of DMC3's campaign a boring, tedious nightmare, apart from the boss fights. It's just not fun anymore. Eventually you end up in a boss battle against a couple dozen chess pieces on a chessboard, and it's absolute misery. I hate it so much. DMC fans don't actually like fighting the chess pieces, do they? I find that hard to believe. On my very hard run, I got to where all the statues appear and it just sucked all the motivation out. I had to take a multi-day break after that. So I tried the Bloody Palace. That's where all the good stuff is, right? Pure combat. I like the Bloody Palace in DMC5 a lot. The only thing I didn't like was that I had to start at level 1 every time, and it doesn't even get remotely entertaining until level 40 or so. I wish it had a system like the Cyber Grind in Ultra Kill where you can choose which level to start at. DMC3's Bloody Palace has 3 orbs on the stage. One takes you to a fight that gives you health and advances 1 level. One gives you Devil Trigger and advances 10 levels. And the other gives no reward while advancing 100 levels. And there's 9,999 levels in total. So that's cool, you can choose to advance faster through the tower if you choose, and you get resources when you need them. I like this design a lot better than DMC5's. However, the fights are all randomly generated. You could get any combination of enemies, and we just talked about how half the enemies in this game are pure crap. I played Bloody Palace on stream for like 3 hours, and after 3 hours I can safely say that this game mode f***ing sucks. Fight after fight of statues and ghosts, or statues and the fallen, or the fallen and bats. It's so bad. 25% of the fights are against the worst enemies in the game, and I can't take it anymore. There's just nothing fun about this. Are you kidding me? Are you f***ing kidding me? Add Silent Hill 2 Remake to the endless list of games that insist on using this tired, generic, over-the-shoulder camera, while the developers can't even be bothered to make it not zoom into your character model when you back up against a wall, or just apply a transparency effect to the geometry behind you and lock the FOV so the camera doesn't freak out. The only thing that apparently matters to these game studios is making sure the game looks and plays exactly like every other horror game today, not making the camera actually work. Because look at this, does this look like fun to you? One wrong dodge away from a nurse attack and now the camera is 5 miles up my pelvic region. It's disorienting. If you ever press your back up against a wall or get cornered, the camera bizarrely zooms in on you. Is this really okay for people? You seriously prefer to have this issue in all of your horror games? Apparently, because this camera is all over the industry now. Every game has this same issue, and legions of gamers will defend a camera system that bugs out if you don't play perfectly and you dare to get close to a wall. While this game presents its combat with claustrophobic environments, ambushes you with enemies at times, and is actively trying to inspire fear and panic, you're gonna end up against a wall sometimes, and the camera shouldn't be the most terrifying enemy in that situation. The punishment for backing yourself into the corner should be that you're in the corner, that you're vulnerable, that you have fewer options. It shouldn't be that the camera becomes a nightmare too. Instead of demanding more consistent and better designed camera systems, fans will instead insist that it is the player who should be avoiding the camera's issues. They'll say it's your fault for playing badly and ending up against the wall, when the whole point is that the wall shouldn't be doing this in the first place, regardless of how you play. This isn't some rare bug you have to go out of your way to recreate. All you have to do is stand next to a wall, in a game filled with walls! Every camera system has natural limitations. If this were fixed camera, I could turn a corner and walk into an enemy. In over-the-shoulder camera, I can't see enemies behind me. I accept that. but I do not accept that the camera has to zoom into your character model when you're close to geometry. Just make it transparent, lock the FOV, and keep the player at relatively the same distance from the camera. This crap doesn't need to be happening. It didn't need to happen in RE4 Remake, which is why we were able to mod it out and keep the camera at a reasonable distance when you backed into a wall. It doesn't need to be happening in the new God of War games, and it doesn't need to be happening in Sifu, which is the most egregious example in recent memory. Enough with the lazy camera implementation, guys. Raise your standards.
Bro, just don't back into walls.
Shut the f up! What are you even doing here?
Bro, I got tacos.
Oh, well, that's nice of you.
Not after you talking to me like that.
I need to be nicer to that guy. The map is fully rotatable and 3D, very unlike what you typically see in survival horror games, cool, but it doesn't mark any points of interest, so it's essentially useless. I completely forgot about the map after the opening apartment section because I just didn't like using it. The map also doesn't auto-mark doors that can't be opened. Like in Silent Hill, if a door is jammed, you have to try to open it first. It'll say it's jammed and then it's marked on the map as unpassable. But if you come across an entrance that is obviously unpassable just by looking at it, like a door that's been sealed by cement, the map will automatically mark it as an unpassable door. That's smart. But in Hollowbody, even if you're looking right at the boarded up door, the map will not mark it as unpassable unless you physically go up to it and try to open it, which you already know you can't do. This led to constant map frustration for me in the apartments. There's also no difference on the map between an unpassable door and a door that's just locked. Maybe you're looking for that last door that you need to use a keycard on. How are you supposed to identify it by looking at the map when the boarded up doors look exactly the same? This is what I mean when I say the map is essentially useless. It doesn't even show you if you've already entered a room or not. Again, Silent Hill. The map updates with the geometry of the rooms, or at least takes notes of important things you saw there, so you aren't running around with no idea where you've been. Maps as far back as Resident Evil had the courtesy to indicate which rooms have already been visited, even if they didn't make notes of points of interest. Hollowbody's map somehow manages to be both less informative than survival horror maps from 30 years ago, and be more confusing by having no visual distinction between locked doors and unpassable doors. Look, the map layout of floors 1, 2, and 3 are all the same. It's just a big H, so looking at them, it's already pretty difficult to visualize what you saw in those spaces, because 1, the layout is exactly the same, and 2, the map doesn't mark any points of interest. But I'd get to the end of a hall and see that 2 doors were boarded up, so I obviously can't go in. And then I'd go to another floor, explore for a while, and then I'm not exactly sure what to do, maybe I missed something important, and I check my map to see if there's any doors I haven't been through yet. And here the map shows me that there are these doors I haven't checked yet. And since the layout is all the same, I'm not sure if these are the 2 doors I already visually verified were blocked, or if they're 2 other doors that maybe I just haven't seen yet. So I go all the way back there just in case, and they're the same doors! They're just not marked because I didn't go over there and try to open them when they're obviously blocked. God, this stuff just makes me so angry. The Great Library was endless, beautiful, and terrible, an akashic record for the universe inside the mind of Jeremy Hartwood, now corrupted by a story forced upon him, told by a maniacal liar, an evil conjured by science and secrecy. I will suspend a room and lock away the foundation of his character. Its key will be left to the librarian, the only thing invisible to the prowler. Oh, okay, so there's a key hidden with a librarian that's, quote, invisible to the prowler. I'm gonna have to figure out what all this means. I'm gonna have to find what the prowler is, and I'm gonna have to find some librarian hidden by magic or something. Oh wait, it's just right here on this statue. I found it by running around. The poem had nothing to do with anything. I keep trying to give this game more credit than it's due, because it throws these cryptic sounding documents at me that sound like they're related to a puzzle solution. But they're not. This safe puzzle right here is the biggest offender. This puzzle. You've got a safe in the corner of an office on the second floor of a warehouse. A document is found in a cabinet talking about a ship being raided, all of his things being recovered. But several men were carried into the Mississippi River, drowned by the ones who live in the deep. All items have been signed and delivered. Safe combination, what is left, later is right, and hell is back again. Ooh, okay. Well, we have this bit here about several men drowning in the Mississippi River. Maybe we need to determine exactly how many for the combination. Right above the cabinet, we have a map of the town, showing the Mississippi. We also have another map on the ground. Maybe there's some information here about the drownings. And how about the phrase, what is left? That's a common expression, what is left, but left meaning that which remains. And the document talks about someone's things being recovered. Are his recovered things what is left after the ship raid? And since that's the first thing that happened, what happens later is that the men drown in the river. So the number of men drowned in the river has to be the second number of the combination, maybe. But what is hell referring to? The only thing I can think of is the Taurus sign. I still have access to this zodiac chart, so like the Taurus symbol has horns on it, the cult is worshipping the black goat of the forest. Is that somehow like the devil? Am I supposed to be relating zodiac signs to all three parts of the document and then getting numbers from there? I mean, they talk about a river, and the sign for Aquarius is water. Okay, so Aquarius for water, Taurus for hell. Maybe since they're putting his in all capital letters, I need a zodiac sign that represents a man? What zodiac sign looks like a man? None of these look like a man. Leo looks like a sperm. It can't be that, can it? Sperm 6, river 1, hell 4. No, of course that's not it. Why would I think that would be it? Maybe since they're talking about this guy's recovered things, I gotta find his things. Here in the warehouse. Yeah, I'll go downstairs and look around. There's a big pile of stuff here in nets. This has to be the recovered things from the document. Yes! Count the boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, the first number is 10. Still, what about the guys in the river? And what about hell? If there's no zodiac connection, what am I looking for? Well, my friends, forget all that. What is the stupidest possible solution to this puzzle? Something that has absolutely nothing to do with the attached story and the map and the piles of stuff in the warehouse and the zodiac signs. Just count the letters of each word. 4, 5, 4. If you're too dumb to figure it out, the combination is literally written inside the cabinet you found the document in, but you won't see it because it was covered by the document and you'll look away after you pick it up and never think to look there again. I was furious. I was so desperate for this game to have a puzzle that would actually make me figure something out, and it feels like the game is intentionally throwing all this extra bullshit at me to make me think the solutions have something to do with finding some kind of interesting symbolic logic. It just sucks, man. It starts bringing down the experience when you're stuck here for ages running in circles because you're not thinking stupid enough. And if you're going to put more than one weapon on a weapon slot, maybe actually have the buttons switch between them. You guys aren't going to believe how this works. I'll do my best to explain. So we have 2 weapons on the machine gun slot, weapon key 4. Pressing 4 will bring up the assault rifle, but it also brings up the menu for this weapon category. You can use the mouse wheel to scroll down to the SMG, pressing fire to select it. But you can also go to the SMG by simply pressing 4 again. However, if you're already on the assault rifle, you would think that pressing 4 would just go to the SMG, the next weapon in the list. It doesn't. It only brings up the menu for you to then scroll down, or you would have to press 4 again to go to the SMG. This is how weapon selection works in Half-Life. You pull up the weapon menu and then select what you want. But what's totally f***ed up about Phantom Fury is that even though pressing the weapon key does not automatically equip the next weapon in the list, if you're on the SMG and then you press the weapon key once to open the menu, it returns to the assault rifle. It equips it in your hand. Opening the weapon menu for any category, even if you're already holding something from that category, will cause you to suddenly have weapon 1 in your hand. And it gets much worse. There are 4 different weapons that go into this slot. 4. Way too many to practically switch to the one you want during combat. If you have weapon 3 open, which is the ion bow, pressing the weapon key will not go to weapon 4, it will instead put weapon 1 in your hands. What the f***? Look, you either need to make the single press of a weapon key cycle to the next weapon in the list, or, like in Half-Life, just open the menu, not equip you with weapon 1 and open the menu. Do you know how many times I pulled out the wrong weapon, panicking as I seemed to be unable to control what I was choosing? Oh shit, I need the bow. Press 4 to go to the next weapon. No, wait, that put the assault rifle back in my hands. Okay, press it 3 times because that goes to the 3rd weapon. No, that went to the 4th weapon because I already had the menu open. Ah! The only way to have direct control over the weapon you want is to use the mouse wheel, which I hate. I never use the mouse wheel for weapon selection because it's so easy to be imprecise and scroll past what you want in the heat of combat. So I gotta carefully roll the wheel up 1 notch and then press fire to select the gun I want from the category. I hate this. Do you see how counterintuitive it is to be on weapon 2 and then press the weapon key expecting it to go to weapon 3, but it instead equips weapon 1? But all this has me asking, and if the devs are listening, I genuinely want to know because maybe I'm missing something. What is the point of having the weapon key bring up the weapon selection menu if scrolling the mouse wheel already cycles through the menu without having to bring it up first with the weapon key? Just make the weapon key go directly to the next weapon in the list, not go back to weapon 1 and open a menu that the weapon wheel would have opened anyway. There's literally no point to just opening the menu with the weapon key. It's a useless function. It's not like you can open the menu and then quickly select a specific weapon from the list. You still have to scroll with the mouse or additional presses of the weapon key. So why does the weapon key behave like this? It's insane. The amount of confusion this creates is monumental. The inventory makes no sense. You have an inventory where you hold everything, and the quick bar at the bottom where things are equipped. Items take up different amounts of slots, so you have to choose what you're going to keep on you. Okay, in theory that's not bad, but the actual gameplay is not served by this at all. First, you cannot use potions from the inventory. You can't even equip them to put one in your hand. You have to assign a potion to a slot first, and then select it in real time. Second, the staff and book are required slots, so really you only have 8 slots to work with. Every good projectile weapon in the game takes up 3 slots, so if you want to have the shotgun and the grenade launcher, you've only got 2 slots left to put the cuff arrow and a healing potion. But what if I need to use a magic potion? Well, now I've got to go to the inventory, drag the magic potion into the healing potion slot to replace it, pull it out, use it, go back to the inventory, reset my healing potion, and exit. And if you think that's tedious, imagine how it feels to be fighting waves of incredibly dangerous enemies and then realize you need a different weapon. Same thing happens. If the ballista would help me take out some long-range enemies, I'll have to go to the inventory and drop it into the slot of one of the other weapons I'm using to replace it, fire it a few times, go back to the inventory and put the other weapon back in the slot. And I just gotta ask, what is the point? Do you see all these weapons the game lets me carry? Ballista, crossbow, shotgun, grenade launcher, sword, mace, but I can only have 2 guns equipped to deal with these nightmare combat situations? It's so monumentally bad. This alone is reason enough not to recommend the game. I'm never using the sword anymore because why would I? If I were to have any combination of shotgun and ballista, or a crossbow and grenade launcher, or a ballista and shotgun, any 2-gun combination, the only way to have the sword equipped would be to not carry any healing potions. And then what? You want me to open the inventory every time I get hurt so I can equip a healing potion over the weapon slot, pull it out and use it, and then put the weapon back in the slot to keep fighting? It's such a waste of time. I don't understand why they made it like this or how it even got past playtesting.
Exhibits are all over the floor.
Ancient Egyptian, obviously. A depiction of Bastet. Terracotta, like the Babylonian rock.
Do it again. Whatever.
Ugaritic letters. Funerary mask, Brody.